It's going to be fun. And then I'm going to go in here.
On Facebook, is that where we are?
We're on Facebook at Audrey Newmont. Oops, I keep forgetting I'm on my. We're on Facebook. We are on Rumble. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. Hi.
Hello,
This
everybody.
is us here.
I'm Nick Newmont.
That'd be interesting. All right. Yeah, we're live here. So I'm just going to make sure I can see your comments. So if anybody's watching, you can go to Audrey Newmont on Facebook, and I will be able to see your comments there. And welcome to Conscious Mind Tripping with me, Audrey Newmont. So nice to have you join me tonight with my very special guest, the man that makes me laugh just as much as my husband. Just saying.
Wow, it's high.
Craig Shoemaker is in the house.
I'll have to open for him someday. And he's doing comedy at the Canyon Club.
Yeah, you're going to be at the Canyon Club on the 27th
of April. Yeah.
Of April. So if you're in the neighborhood, or if you really want to be in the neighborhood and come and see him, you make me laugh so hard when you're in your different modes. You're just ridiculously amusing.
Yeah, it's a gift that I think we all have. I call it the seventh sense. We have a sixth sense, that's your intuition, but we don't develop our sense of humor enough. And that's really the business that I'm getting into. Is obviously I've been doing it at a nice high level, doing the stand-up, but those are one-offs. And I like to teach people how to develop their own fun and their own funny, because funny's money. It really does help when you're in any transaction or any relationship. They say women want a sense of humor in a man, which is why you're with Nick. So if he's boring, I don't know how you can sustain a relationship like that, because the looks go,
Yeah.
I've got a dad bod going on, but that doesn't fade. If anything, you can increase your sense of humor and develop it.
And that's what you do. That's what you help people do.
I really, it gives me almost more pleasure. Like I've had so much happen in my career. Performed for 4 U.S. presidents and 75,000 people at once, and the Hollywood Bowl and the Greek and the Broadway and all that. It's all beautiful. It's an incredible journey. But really, sometimes if I help this guy with his TED Talk, for instance, and to watch him transmute pain into something that's joyful, and watch him switch from boring. Or my other client and is now the number one mortgage guy in the country. I mean, I'm on retainer with him for years now, and he just calls me when we work on his presentations. So it just makes you more engaging and more inviting, more magnetic when you're funny.
Right.
And which I haven't been once on the show yet, but it's okay. Just go to my website. So.
When you're creating this Laughter Heals, I have all these different modalities that we use at Newmont Center. We have all these different things that we do. And that's one of the reasons I'm really grateful that we brought you in. That's an avenue that most people just really don't tap into. And when you're creating this Laughter Heals and you're doing the laughitation, that is like gold. And to be able to use that, can you explain to everybody a bit more about what that looks like and what you do?
Well, I was inspired. I've talked about this before. My best friend got brain cancer and they gave him 3 months to live. And then I developed this program. And I thought, if laughter is the best medicine, why are we not deploying it? Why is this not the pharmacy? Mm-hmm. And what is the pharmacy of laughter? If it is a comedy, it can't be comedy because that's so subjective. Like, you find me very funny. There's other people that might think this is awful. You don't know. Patch Adams did wonderful work, right? He went to hospitals and helped kids, especially kids. He would come in and make them laugh, which is great for the efficacy, even if you're on drugs or whatever it is, medications. It helps with everything. Mm-hmm. That's what laughter does. And Norman Cousins cured himself of a terminal illness just from locking himself in a room with Three Stooges tapes. But other people don't like the Three Stooges. And Patch Adams went in a clown outfit. If I'm lying there on my deathbed, I'll pull the plug. I don't want a freaking clown talking to me, okay, with big shoes. But that's subjective, but laughter's not. They're two different things. So just like crying is not drama, but you might cry from the drama. So laughter is something that we can choose to do, where I take, if you can meditate, right, which is great, breath work and all those things, these are all practices. So I now train other facilitators to bring out through guided laughitation. By the way, just so you know, on spell check, I can't stand autocorrect when you speak. Do you have this problem?
I do it all the time.
It's a nightmare. You have to check all the time, or I've sent bad messages out.
I have too.
I told this guy on the
Actually,
way.
to Becca in particular.
Oh, what'd you
There's
send
something
her?
about her.
Do you remember?
Oh, just something foul. It was like ridiculous.
Accidentally foul.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's horrible. I told this guy on the way to golf. He goes, "Where are you?" I said, "I'll be there. I'm driving." I tried to text him while I'm driving. The L is next to the K, and it came out. I'll tell you, when I get there, I'm going to lick your ass. I meant kick your ass, obviously. And he wasn't there when I got there. I was like, but I make all these mistakes. But the guided laughitation, it will not listen to me. I've done it a million times because in my pitch deck for Laughter Works, and it comes out guided lactation, which that I don't teach, folks. I do not teach lactation.
Very interesting if you did. Jeez.
But then again, by speaking of that, it's a strange segue, but laughter has healed people to the point where it's a fertility clinic. I have people that come up to me. The guy goes home and does the Lovemaster, and all these births have happened.
Tell my friends about that, because that's fascinating.
So the first one that came up was Michigan. They said, "We want to thank you. We were told we couldn't have a child, and we went home and did the Lovemaster. I guess it loosened things up. You're not trying so hard to have this baby. You're inviting it in by loosening up and oxygenating your body. All these things are happening when you laugh, and they have a baby girl." Then Brett and Mindy, my friends, they couldn't conceive. And I said, "Come to my show," and it worked for them too, to the point where baby Cooper, they have baby Cooper. My adopted son is 7 days different than baby Cooper, right? This is 20 years ago. So we used his breast milk. Mindy would give her breast milk to us as like a full circle thank you.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and we would go to the farmer's market like a drug deal. You got any new milk today? And I got some frozen. I got some fresh frozen for you. And then my best friend's Michael Goldberg. We were doing the Lovemaster movie. His wife was ovulating. He did the Lovemaster. Baby Kayla was born 9 months later. So it really is amazing. So it's like a fertility clinic here.
It is, and I work with people who have challenges with having sex in various different ways, making love, whatever you want to call it. And when you do your show and you are being the Love Master, it makes it fun. It makes it more playful. It makes it where it's, you're taking out that heaviness. In fact, I just want to say this really quick. I'm going to be bringing somebody on my show pretty soon. There's a lot of young men who are having issues with all of this. It might be interesting to do having you on to
I'll do
talk about
laughitation, not the lactation for them.
Exactly. But I think that when you can bring humor into it and you can change the perception of it, because it's gotten so incredibly out of hand with people in their mind, especially young men, and you're lightening up the mood around it, that can be very beneficial.
It's an energy shift.
Yes.
Everything's about energy, right?
Mhm.
And vibration. And this is a complete shift into consciousness, mindfulness,
Mhm.
awareness, presence. That's where laughter takes you. And I've watched the miracles take place where people are just miserable and they're living in their victim. There's a lot of that goes on. And this is a way to bust through all of it. While you're laughing, you can't be depressed. You literally can't be in the same space. Watch this. I'm depressed. I'm depressed. Can't be depressed. In that moment, you're not depressed. It just takes you into this whole other realm of possibility and awareness. It's an amazing thing. I've just seen it. And then I have another one called Chuckle Chatter. These are two. This is what I developed through the years when my best friend got cancer and I started this Laugh for Life program. It can't be about comedy. Although there is one thing I have people do. There's simplified exercises you can do. I'll tell you one that's really, really simple. I shouldn't give away all my secrets. Buy my book. If you tell me your favorite comedy movie.
I don't know. My favorite comedy, you know what? They had said it that night. The funny one is Elf.
Elf.
Yeah.
See you smile when you say Elf.
Yeah.
And then you think of a scene from Elf.
Where he jumped into the
He
tree.
jumped into the tree.
I'm telling you.
We'll lose it every time, right?
Uh-huh.
Mine's planes, trains, automobiles. When they're in bed together, those hard pillows. Oh, how about the Bears game? I mean, I lose it. There's so many scenes in that movie. But if you just say these sitcoms and movies, just say it out loud. Watch the people in the room light up. The ones who recognize it, the one who recognize your smile, they recognize your smile, which is reflected back to them. That's why laughter's contagious. What a contagion that is.
Mm-hmm.
We're so busy staying indoors and everything during the pandemic and everything we shouldn't have been doing. What we
Right.
should be doing is connecting with people. And it also helps your immune system when you laugh. It builds your immune system, literally. They shut down comedy clubs, kept the liquor stores open, but not
Right.
the comedy clubs. We got shut down. We're the essential workers,
Right.
but people don't see it as that. This is why we need to really extend this brand out, if you will, and have people a better understanding of what it means to choose laughter. And once you do, your body doesn't know the difference between a stairmaster or climbing a hill, right? It doesn't know the difference. It knows, well,
One foot in front of the other and you're going up.
well, I'm getting my lungs are pumping, my heart's pumping, and that's all it knows. That's all your body. Same with laughter. All the benefits are happening as your pulse, your skin, your everything improves. Upper level vibration when you laugh. It's crazy. I've been doing this study for so long, inspired by my friend who had brain cancer and gave him 3 months to live. And
Can you tell them that story? Because especially at the end, what you did there.
you want me to
Craig
tell
was
her?
just the instructor for our class, the Healthy Mind, Healthy Body class. So I've heard these things, but you haven't. And that story is so, it's important on so many levels. Last week I was talking about death and dying and conscious dying, and you had a moment with him that was really powerful.
Yeah. Well, he wrote Cool Runnings and Little Giants, a real comedy guy, and we bonded. He's a Philly guy like I am. And we all have our sense of humor and we love our Eagles and stuff. And he also, his daughter was born out of imitating my character, the Lovemaster, and she was born Kayla, and he was such a happy dad. And then he got brain cancer. She was like a year and a half, 2 years old. And they said, you have 3 months to live. And that was a ha-ha moment for me. And I said, what can I do for my friend? Is laughter the best medicine? Why is this not a pharmacy? That's when I started working at a cancer facility in the valley called WeSpark and developing this. And I came up with facilitators. I don't have to be the only one who does it. I certify other facilitators in my LaughterWorks program. We go to companies for their wellness because corporate wellness needs a sense of humor too.
Oh, yeah. Ah.
Everything. But we need it now more than ever. So he showed up for all of it, even with the brain cancer, with 3 months to live, and took the prescriptions, like go to comedy shows, watch. We exchanged funny sitcoms. They would come back and go, I watched yours, your movie, or they rent the movies or whatever it was. And he lived 15 years past that prognosis of 3 months. And I believe part of it, he was doing the treatments and things like that, but it's improving the efficacy of whatever treatments he was doing. That's what laughter does as well. But it's just to have joy is a reason to live. To not have joy is not a reason to live. And when people are joyless, they're hopeless, faithless. That's when they want to kill themselves and they want it to end. They want life to end. But if you have a reason, one of my reasons for living is to be around laughter. And that's what he had. He really did. It was amazing. But he came to so many of my comedy shows, I had a restraining order. I mean, it was unbelievable how much he showed up. So he showed up for himself and he showed up for his daughter. He wanted to live for his daughter.
Yeah.
And now you want me to tell you the part about him in a coma?
Yeah.
You got that kind of mind. He was in a coma. He was in hospice. It was so sad. He was in this old folks' place, right? By the way, if ever I don't feel good about myself, I can go there and get a date. I'm very much like, I'm Brad Pitt in these old folks' homes. They'll come up and go, hey, come here. Take you in the closet. Because they have no qualms. They have no fears. That everything, life is already over. Why not have some sex?
Right.
Oh, yeah. I was like, they would like, come on to me. I'm, whoa, easy now. I feel like a rock star in that place. And I went in one day and he was in a coma, like full coma, and just staring. And I'm waving my hand. We filmed this for a movie called Laughter Heals. this anyway. I said, Golds, what could I do for you? Come on, man, what can I do? Because we had done so much for him to keep him alive. Little team he had, about 5 of us. And I said, I leaned in on him. I said, what can I do, man? I said, you want me to jerk you off? I said, I've never done anybody but my own, but I'm really good. I'll give you a hand, a handy. He came out of a coma and he goes, and he laughed.
That is so funny.
I loved it. We caught it on camera too. And then he passed away a couple of days later. But I'll tell you what, I felt good that at the
You were
end,
complete.
complete. That's a completion right there.
Yeah.
Doing what I do best. I've been doing this for a very long time, since high school, junior year of high school, professional. I put myself through college. And it's saved me so many times. The sense of humor has literally saved my life.
You know, a lot of people would look at that and just be like, what in the world are you thinking doing that on a deathbed? But I got to tell you, I've been on a lot of people, and that was the topic last week. I had a friend of mine, her husband, and it's so important to get when somebody is even in a coma, they hear you, they know
They
what's
do.
going on.
Oh, they do.
And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why he could be like, oh, and you gave him his last laugh.
Exactly. His last
You know,
laugh,
and
yeah.
that is huge. That's important. And he knew your humor. He got it.
Oh, of
And
course he
it's
did.
totally cool to do
And I
that.
knew his. I knew his.
Yes.
Of course it's cool. I don't care what anyone thinks.
Yeah.
I made my friend laugh. I don't care if you have judgment over it. Sorry. I'm happy that I made this guy laugh on his deathbed.
But that's the
And
point that I'm making. It's like we have to take things and lighten it up. I'm looking at people being so serious. I just had lunch with somebody today, somebody that you know, and we were able to sit in that lunch and meet each other at our differences and leave the lunch hugging each other. And laughter can do that. You know, it's that thing that can connect people on all these different levels. And when you're creating an avenue where you bring that in, and you can, we talked about it when you were facilitating that class, bringing it into schools, you know, making it where kids come in and it's like, how are we going to make each other laugh today?
well,
It's gotten
it
so
improves
serious.
performance in every way.
Hmm.
Athletes, I point this out when I speak. I put up on the board. I put Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, and Peyton Manning. Do you know who they are?
Yeah.
I said,
I'm
what?
married to Nick.
I said,
Hello.
I said, what do you? What do they have in common? Super Bowl, okay, football. I said, you know what they have in common? Winning quarterbacks who have a great sense of humor. One of them hosts Saturday Night Live. What quarterback says that's my goal is to host Saturday Night Live? That's how funny Peyton Manning is. They're all funny, and they loosen up the huddle that way because it's a very tense sport. It's very angry, but they bring the lightness to it and enlightenment. One of my goals is, I've been in the spiritual community for quite some time, at Agape and several places like that, and I even go to Christian churches. I go to synagogues. I go to all sorts of places because all roads lead to the big G for me.
Hmm.
And I'm at the point now where I'm out of the judgment. I just want to be in presence. But I watch a lot of people that are in this world, and New Age world as well, are so caught up in theory and not really application, where there's data basically to support some of these. Here's what you need to do. I don't listen to people tell me what you need to do. Did you do it? I will listen to you. So one of my goals is, I'm sure you notice this because you're well into the community, very serious, and believe that these customs need to happen to get your road to enlightenment has to sit on a rock in Sedona. If you want to go get enlightenment, you can really boost it up to go on a trip to Sedona or these other places, wherever it is. Very serious.
Mm-hmm.
Now, comedians, on the other hand, a lot of atheists, a lot of cut off, cynical, sarcastic, and cut off. And they don't realize you have God, or whatever you want to deem it to be, within you because you're telling the truth. So if God is truth, you're telling the truth. That's what comedians do. So embrace that and understand you are spiritual. It's just not religious. Spirit of the big difference. And the enlightened people, the enlightened group, the group that the spiritual seekers and things like that, they're too serious. So I want to build a bridge from the woo-woo to the ha-ha. That's my goal. Build that bridge. They're separate right now. Let's build the bridge. And also from the right and the left. That's insane right now what's going on. Okay. I'm going to post something tomorrow. You'll see. I'm really trying to, or not trying, I am coming from a place of solution for this toxic, and people just have excuses to stay a victim or to stay angry. If it wasn't for humanity, if it wasn't for this, wasn't for that, come on. You're just making your own conditions to stay miserable. It's ridiculous. And you're just getting your information from the news and they're choosing it for you. And you're a sucker if you believe this crap.
Well, I was just
If you look at the like old history, I'm watching these Mike Wallace interviews. It's the same thing. They're talking. It's 1956. They're talking. Well, this guy Nixon's coming along, and Eleanor Roosevelt's talking about better. Republicans don't have anyone. All it's good. It's the same rhetoric. Then it was Khrushchev. Now it's Putin. Do you understand, people, that it's all relative and it's all what they're feeding you? They're feeding you the fear, and you're regurgitating it for them. How about get inside of yourself and know that's the only answer? Your resentment and your rage is never going to do a single bit of good. So I'm going to post a photo tomorrow of Barack Obama and Donald Trump at Jimmy Carter's funeral, laughed the entire time together.
wow.
And I have photos of them doing this. In the meantime, it's pretty funny if you watch the video. Kamala Harris is looking back. She's really upset with, it's like, are you kidding me? But how great, even if Trump is his enemy or if Obama's his enemy, this is a guy that said you weren't even born in this country, and he forgives him, which is a spiritual concept.
Right.
So my point to these people is that they tell me I'm complicit if I don't complain. I was like, well, you're doing a lot of good complaining to me, a comedian on Facebook. Oh, that's doing a lot of good. You're really doing your civil service here, your patriotic duty to come after me because I'm asking people to be enlightened and give it the light touch. Well, I'm going to post that photo tomorrow. You watch how much arguing people have on being right in their anger.
Fascinating.
Fascinating.
But I'm going to say there's a part to this, and this is where I keep making this point week after week after week. There's anger rides both sides. Anger can be in the victim mode. Anger can be that thing where it's like they're doing this,
Yeah.
I'm a victim to it, whatever. And when you're doing that, you're in the loop. You're just swimming in it, and there's nothing you can do. When you're in your righteous anger, and we all have a right to be angry. There's a lot of shit that's gone down, and there's a lot of reason to be using that anger. So when you're in the righteous anger, that's when it's propelling you. That's when you're using it. And it's like, what are you going to do? A lot of times when people are in the victim anger, they're just complaining, and they don't take any action. So if you move it over to the righteous anger and then you put some action behind it, do something, anything that's going to make a difference. Like my righteous anger is why I can sit here and do this podcast. I can make this happen. And there's other things that I do as well. But it's like people have to get, if you're in the victim mode, there you are. And you're just going to sit and complain and do all the things
Not only
you're talking
people in
about.
victim mode, they're now being victims for other people.
Right.
People they never met. Talking, they decide who has it the worst, whose rights are being taken away, and if you don't defend that, if you don't have my hashtag and my ribbon, then you're not a good person and all this, or they'll judge you by a sentence.
Right.
They'll cancel you over a sentence. I feel like Yoda. Offended you are, a shit I do not give. I mean, I have a saying, stop global whining.
Right.
That's probably worse than global warming. I mean, it is insane how much we are whining about stuff that we don't know anything, and we're powerless. We're powerless. I would debate you a little bit, by the way.
Do. I love to be debated.
The anger and resentment thing, it can be one and the same. And I've been taught that resentments are just a killer. It's the old drinking poison, hoping they die. To me, it's such an inner search for our own enlightenment and our own peace and our own love and our own harmony within ourselves. Mm-hmm. And that vibration, bring that to the situation. Now, I do have my anger. I might have even been angry in this conversation on these damn people, whatever it is. But I know at the end of the day, for me, it has never worked. And if anybody shows me how something did work like that, they haven't yet, on how that has manifested into something as a peace, for instance. It doesn't. It's the Obama thing he was there with his enemy. And by the way, Trump as well was there with his enemy. How did they handle it? You're going to have much better conversations with somebody and get to the root of what the cause is anyway. If you're angry at them, what's happening in reflection is return is anger. If I laugh with you, what's going to happen is laughter. And that space of joy that's where we can get somewhere.
Absolutely.
And solution. And that's what I say about when I hear the word righteous, I get a little nervous.
I don't mean it like
my
that.
ex has a lot of righteous actions that she does, but joining this cult. And they're all about righteous. All cults are about righteous. This is right. And that's the whole thing, is like, it's so subjective. What is right? What is moral? And all those things. It's an inside job. That's the bottom line. For me, I've only had peace within me when I actually admit when I've been wrong, when I take 100% responsibility, by the way, and not expect them to take any.
Right.
That's a tough thing to do. It's ego. But ego, to me, I use the acronym, it's evading growth opportunity. I'm evading my own growth opportunity if I want to stay in the ego and be right. But if I can be wrong, now I had it happen. I'll give you an example. Again, I don't want to tell people what to do, but so my ex-wife just literally just boom, just blew up the whole thing with young kids, and they have no idea because we didn't really fight. But this leader, this wellness grifter, some people use wellness to grift,
Yeah.
and they prey upon vulnerable people like my ex-wife, who's now my ex-wife. She's in an age where we're married for 17 years, and it's like, what's her identity? I get it, but I kept supporting. I just here's the checks. I wanted to make sure she felt her freedom, but then there was sovereign freedom. Get out of your golden cage. She got programmed to really believe that she was in a golden cage. Yes, I know. I see the look. I mean, it's insanity. But when people get together, they start to believe their own words. They
Right.
start to believe the brainwashing. Even my young son says she was brainwashed. He watched it happening. She on Zoom every day. Sounds good to her because she wants some sort of an escape from this. Now she's got the kids already, won't have any more kids, doesn't have an identity with business. This woman gives her business because they multi-level marketing, and all this menopause, all the midlife crisis, all that kind of stuff it's all happening. It's the perfect vulnerable space for a predator to go. And that's what happened, is the predator came in. So a lot of, she stole literally my house that I bought before I knew her. She literally changed the password, stole the money from the house sale, like literally changed the money. She kidnapped the kids twice. These are really like heavy things. And one day in Maui, I was there, and she happened to be 40 minutes away, and I was compelled by a higher source to look within. Because blaming her is not going to do any good. I tell you the story not with blame, it's just to tell you the story, to set up the story. And there was a little bit of blame because I'm like, what the hell did you do here? This is really rough stuff to take. You had me arrested, and it was her. She was violent. She's violent. But she has no control because this woman's programmed her so much to be right. That's why I get scared of the word righteous. Right in the anger. She's right in her anger. He's the blame. Well, we went to Maui, me and the two children, and it was one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. On the way over, this higher source said, write a letter where you have 100% responsibility. I apologize. 22 pages, handwritten, of I figured out, this source figured it out for me, of what I brought in to this whole conflict. Now, her stuff about me wasn't true, but there are other things that I found for myself that were true. Like lies that I told, not direct lies, like typical cheating lies, but other lies, whatever it was. It kept pouring out of me. It's beautiful. 100%. I didn't mention one zinger. I did it because that's another thing people do when they apologize. Well, I did it because I used to say about her, she's the Wizard of Oz, because the awful things he does. And then other people can do, he's awful. Yes, exactly. No, this was 100%. I said, there'll be a note waiting for you at my hotel. I said, we'll be at the pool. If you're into the note, we'll be at the pool. If not, then I'm done. I'm clean.
Mm-hmm.
She texts me. I'm halfway through the letter. I'm crying already. And we had a beautiful healing that day in Maui, where it was incredible. And our kids, I just watched our kids were so relieved, so happy.
Yeah.
And we're crying together. And she made a little bit of amends too. And I actually stopped her. Unfortunately, I should have let her go. But I did stop. I said, just take this in right now. This is all me. It's 100% me. But then it allowed her that space now, as opposed to me coming at her, you should do this, you should do that. And that's what I'm saying. And then we laughed. We laughed the rest of the time together. We spent it's supposed to be me and the kids only. Spent the entire vacation together.
Was this recently when you
That was a
had
couple
the,
years ago.
okay.
No, recently I had her at the
You had
third
her at that beach
evacuation.
house, yeah,
At the
the
beach house.
evacuation.
Another time, same thing. We're walking along the beach, and but then it returns to fear and stuff. And on my part, her part, we go back into the old stories. And I'm saying this for people to hear based on an experience I'm having, where I hope that other people can get to this accountability factor that we're 100% responsible for our own resentments and our own bitterness.
That piece that you did, I want to just say, I work with couples all the time. I work with families. I highly recommend for them to do that, what you did.
Yeah.
And when they do it, when you're able to take that responsibility, and it's not that you're wrong or you're bad, you just simply did what you did with the consciousness that you had at the time, and you're able to see that and you're able to step out of the
Yeah.
game, that's huge.
Yeah. You were in fear, like we all are.
Yeah,
Nobody's perfect, and forgive myself first and then her.
yeah.
Forgive. And it's a huge deal. And I'm going to, by the way, I'm committing right here in front of you. I'm going to do it again tonight.
Okay.
I'm already planning this. I've been busy all day. I'm writing her another note that is accepting complete responsibility because we're kind of at it again.
Hmm.
And I keep coming from this place of why is it always me? Why am I always
Because
on?
you can.
Why am I always the one who's a higher ground? Yeah, I go to there, but that's a victim mode too. That's a victim mode. But
Change it to I can. And when,
yeah,
every time we do this, every
it's
time you
amazing the
write
result.
that,
You think I do it all the time. Instead, I fight. I go, oh damn it. And so we went to court recently, and I think that I'm so right. And such a good guy. I went by myself with no lawyer, and she had a lawyer. Whoa, you talk about a fool for a client. I was my own lawyer. Oh, I was annihilated by this judge. Annihilated.
oh,
It
man.
was so pathetic. And I'm going, well, and I have all this. I portrayed myself as a victim. No one's interested. No one's interested. And that made me, again, evading growth opportunity, ego. That's my ego. I actually thought I was going to go against her lawyer, this is what he does for a profession. I thought I was going to take him down. Oh, he just annihilated me, caught me. Oh my God, twisting the truth. Oh, it's just a nightmare. And if I told you the story, you would go, you are right. You would be the judge, and I would convince you that I was right. But then again, if you talk to her, she would convince you that she's right. So nobody's right. It's right, to me, it's right if we're in alignment with this accountability, where we really dig down deep and allow this higher consciousness to work,
Right.
not the ego. And again, I'm not telling people what to do, but I'm telling you that these have been the most beautiful moments where the reflection comes back from the kids. That's how you know you're onto something.
Oh, yeah.
I know when they go, that was my son says the greatest moment of his life, that immense. It was the greatest moment of his life, and he's hit home runs and everything else. This was his greatest.
When you were in Hawaii.
In Hawaii, it was this great, and we snorkeled together, we played together, we did charades. Her sister was there, we played with the sister, and blah blah blah. It was amazing, and then I've tried to force it. Everything's about presence. I always try to force it back. When she gets, I see the face. She does this face. She goes into trauma.
Mhm.
It's her own trauma. I'm going, hey, back to Maui. This is like now I am understanding. This is stabbing her. This is me being righteous and having all the answers. Let's go to Maui. So they played a video of me doing that.
In the courtroom.
Yes, the video was against me. I'm thinking I'm doing something. And then when I'm watching the video, I'm going, oh, you don't look so peaceful. Because I'm going, get to Maui. With my little Philly righteousness. The judge is looking at this, and I watch her. She then records what she sees. I see aggressive male, whatever she was saying. I'm going, oh, this isn't going well. I should just retreat. And
then you can see it in a different perspective.
yeah, you see it from somebody else's perspective, and it's just as much as I think that I'm this peaceful guy.
Did you do in that moment in the courtroom? When you watched that, what did you do?
That's a really good question. Whatever I did,
Because I'm going to tell you, if I'm just watching a thing like that, and if I were the judge, and if the husband, the father, you had said, "Wow, I had no idea that that's how I'm coming across. I didn't even realize that's how I look. I thought I was being playful. I might have been the judge going, wow, you know what? That's a change in perspective, and it gives you
You're
another
right,
insight
Audrey. I
to
wish you were my lawyer and advised me, and I thought you were my spiritual counselor at the time. But no, I was in being right. I was going to be right, and I was going to be the victim. And I literally have plenty of stories. I mean, those little ones that I told you, those are pretty big. You know, the violence and all that kind of stuff. It's big. But I have to say, who's making those things happen? It's the fear of me that's causing this to happen. As opposed to, there was no fear of me in Maui. No, vulnerable guy. She cried with me. She started to make her own apologies. And this is what I'm saying about what's going on in our society. There's very little, if any, of what I'm talking about. I do not see mea culpas going on. I don't see this practiced, nor does many people go to laughter. And I went to laughter and joy, and these kids laughed the rest of the trip. And they laughed on the, it was only a couple months ago. I got this shore house, this beach house. That's where I evacuated to. And I said, "You want to come?" She said, "Yeah." And she came. And we played on the beach. We walked the dog. And we did cartwheels in the sand dunes. And people make fun of me because I'm the dad, and you have to make fun of the dad. So it's the law.
I'm going to bring up something because it's kind of apropos for the moment. Nick and I have been together for 25 years, and over those 25 years, just like every other couple, we have had our moments. And I've talked about what I'm going to talk about now before on this. We had a moment not too long ago, it's back in October, and it was like one of those moments. We all have them. And I think why,
You're digging in moments.
oh,
Both are dug in. I wouldn't want to dig in with you, but
no,
I'd dig in more against him than you. I'd be more scared of you than him.
it was one of those
Yeah.
moments, and I had to, and this is why this
I
is
know you both, and you definitely have some pretty heavy energy.
I'm the nicest thing until there is that moment
Oh
where it's
yeah,
like this is not working for
don't
me.
F with you.
Yeah. It's funny because that just came up in another situation.
Yeah. So
But
what happened?
so why this
Standoff?
is it no, it was something happened, and it was to me, and there was this moment where he apologized, and it was like, no,
It wasn't enough?
no, because I'm
Was
going
it
to
the
tell
right
you.
apology?
No, I'm going to tell you.
All right.
I looked at it and it was like, no, this happened here, and it happened here, and it happened here, and it happened here. And I have to look at what I'm doing here. And every single time you apologize, I make it okay. We laugh, we make up, and then it's done. But then you have it happen again. And it doesn't matter what it is, everybody does this.
Yeah.
Everybody does this. And so I had to look at me in this situation, and it's like, I keep making it okay, and you keep not understanding why you do what you do. And so I said, I'm not going to let it go. I'm not going to let it go until you understand why you're doing what you're doing.
Hmm.
And that was a huge moment for him because I wasn't going to be nice about it. And I wasn't going to just let it go. I wasn't mean or nasty or anything, but I was just like, no, no, no.
Hmm.
And so he took it upon himself, and he's talked about this when on his show. He has this Michelle Guzzi, you've met her, and he went and saw her. He had a session with her, and he had to figure out, why do I do this thing to my wife that I love so much? And he had a huge insight, and it went back to his childhood with his father,
Oh, right. Sure.
right? And then he understood, oh, I get it. I'm doing this because it's part of my program. Nick is a great guy. You're a great guy. We're all really decent people, but we have these programs that we run. So then he gets it. He has this understanding, this awareness. And I was sick at the time. So he slept in this room over here, and he had a dream that led to a dream where literally he was with his father in this dream. And there was this moment that was, I mean, his father just like reached in and took out all this pain that he had caused. And Nick came back to our bedroom, and it was like And all the years that we've been together, it was one of the most emotional times
Wow.
I'd ever seen him
That's
have.
incredible.
And then I looked at him and was like, oh, now I'll let it go. You know,
Right.
but when people are in a relationship together and they don't want to hurt each other, but they keep doing it, there's that part where you've got to get in and you've got to dig in within yourself and understand this person doesn't like when I do these things. Why do I keep doing it? Because we all do that, you know?
Yeah, no, it's
And being in the
sometimes
timeline.
sometimes it's also projection.
Yeah.
Something that I need to work on instead of asking that person to work on. I need to work on. I need to work on my expectations.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times that's if I have unreasonable expectations. You know how that comes across? If I have an expectation, for instance, I have an expectation for people to behave a certain way, in what I call decent, moral, good people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not their version. But I'm arrogant enough to go, no, of course that's the way it should be. You know what I mean? So happens all the time where I got to go, whoa, take a sacred pause here and breathe and laugh. And these laughter exercises that I do.
My mind just went to
What?
something. It's
What?
like, for you, it's like, all right, I've got these expectations and I'm being, I guess, the Barney Fife character right now. And you need to do this. You can bring out that whole character.
The
And
main
just,
thing to remember here is what you got to do. There are 2 rules here at The Rock. Number 1, obey all rules. Number 2, there is no writing on the wall. He was my favorite character growing up. Literally my favorite
tell
character.
that story because it's so good.
Oh, I got a call from his daughter. You mean that one?
Yeah.
And she says, I'm writing a book called Tied Up in Knots. And about my dad. Her name's Karen Knotts, Don Knotts. And he's been passed away for a few years. And she says, I want you to be in the book, Craig. You were my dad's favorite comedian. And I have history with him. I looped him in the movie Pleasantville. Half the movie is actually me replacing his voice as an old guy. I circle the apple in a toastrator. It's my voice going, boom, what do you call that right there, bud? The forbidden fruit here in Pleasantville. I'm your TV repairman, bud. So we did comic relief together. Anyway, so she interviewed me, and then she comes to my show a few weeks later. I never met her. I go, everybody's Karen Knotts. I said, I do an impression of your dad. I realized halfway through, the impression I do is Barney Fife doing pornography. And, and I went through it. In front of his daughter, I'm doing Barney doing pornography with Aunt B. Aunt B. Anyway, I'm not gonna do it here. I gotta look at. Oh, I'm gonna. My daughter is cooking. Makes me a little nervous. She's 11.
I get it. She's quite capable, though. She's an amazing kid.
She is. Oh, did I luck out with these two? Going through what I went through the first time with the older 2 kids, that was even worse. But having these 2 in particular, wow. Thank goodness for them. They really have helped me be that guy. You know, the living. The other ones, you know, we're in panic mode and everything else and freaking out and all the courts and this kind of stuff, all the fighting was going on. I didn't have this kind of presence and awareness of the power of joy too. And these kids are, especially my daughter, she is just filled with joy and she knows it. She's funny as hell. Oh my God.
And she can sing.
She's just she's a little dynamo. Even when she was little, she knew that she was funny. She really made me laugh all the time. Like, she met a cat down the street, and she says to my wife at the time, she goes, Mommy, I want a cat. And she says, we can't have a cat. Your dad is allergic. She goes, let's get another dad.
That's funny.
She's just something else. And I'm happy that we had, there's the whole I had her later in life thing. There's part of me, most of me is going, this was perfect timing. This was good. I'm an older dad, sure, but I am so youthful, as you know, very, very youthful. By the way, do we have any questions?
I don't know. I can't see any of the comments. I'm telling you, when I do, oh, I still can't see the comments there. No, I have questions. I have a question. When you were, so that thing about being right and having that ego thing, when you're in that courtroom and that attorney is like saying whatever he's saying, and there's that part where they're showing the video. Is there a part of you in that moment where you can, in that perspective, see how she perceived it? Does that impact you and make you feel like this area I can change? Here's where I can meet her in that because it's a new perception for you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. That's why when I leave here, it's almost like I can't wait to go text her revelations and epiphanies and things like that. It's happened before, and I go backwards too, like human. But
It's a
I'm
dance.
looking forward to that now. The humility that it takes, the surrender. Surrender is the greatest victory. That's what's odd about this. Surrender in my life has been the greatest victory.
Yeah, it's
More so
huge.
than I very rarely, if ever, it's probably an if ever, got my way and went, you need to do this. You did. I command you. And that's that bully thing and all of that. I'm perceived as a bully. I'm a big dude, by the way. I'm 6'2". I'm big, a non-practicing white male. But I see how just men in general, especially white men, are perceived already going into it. There's already an intimidation factor. So if I come in and just do anything like that, that other person is now lit with their own traumas from the past. It could be centuries old, the trauma. It could be still inside of them. Some guy that looked like this. So I get it, but it's not who I am. It's not who any of us are. At our core, we're all really good people.
Right.
And that's why this arguing, I'm just not a fan of all the argument that goes on. It's so righteous. And I'm right because this is the worst time in history. And you're complicit if you don't get it, if you don't stop. You're not coming up with any solutions either. Come up with it for yourself.
I want you to be clear about my version of righteous. It's not that.
Yeah.
It's not that. When I'm saying it, there's a part of it where certain things have happened for all of us. I mean, when you look at just one thing alone, the unlimited wasteful spending and money laundering and all that stuff that has gone on with our money, there is a reason for us to have an anger around it. And so it's that reasonable anger, and it's that I have a right to be angry about
I'll
this.
debate you on that.
Go ahead.
Debate on
Because it's
because
not that
I
you're
mean
gonna just.
I'm not debating this to be right
But
myself.
wait,
By the way,
let me
yeah,
finish my
okay.
part of it. It's not that you're living in it. There's a part of it where there's, because whenever I'm talking about the emotions, and it's in my book, it's like you're using that emotion, you're understanding it, you're learning from it, you're gaining that awareness, and then you're going over here to this side where you're in your power, because you can't be in your power in anger. But anger is one of those things. Like when I had anger as a kid, I wasn't allowed to be angry.
Right.
Simply wasn't able to. And when I was at Agape,
Right
actually,
feeling.
I had a session with a practitioner.
Yeah.
She was the first time she said, Audrey, you're allowed to be angry. And it was like, first time I had permission to be angry.
Yeah.
And so when I'm saying that kind of anger, it's like it's okay to be angry. It's what you do with it.
Yes,
It's
very
the
true.
actions that you take with
That is
it.
very important.
So that's what I mean
Yeah.
about that kind of anger. It's okay to be angry, but then how are you going to transmute that anger? How are you going to use
Right.
that anger? How are you going to use that anger to be like a propeller on
It's
the
really
back of you,
pain. It's pain
moving you?
masking
Yes,
itself as anger.
really.
And it's usually about something in ourselves that we don't want to see.
Hmm.
And it could be that we don't want to see we were fooled a lot of times. Nobody enjoys that. I mean, I had a lot of pain over that with my ex about how much I was fooled. I mean, stealing money, moving money. I was like, what in the world? Are you got to be kidding me? But I have to look at myself. And that's the only victory I will ever have is the surrender of that I'm going to be right in my anger. I can just surrender that anger, acknowledge it's there.
Yeah.
But how it manifests itself, I compare it to Buffy, our rescue dog. Got her at the kennel, really, really just so frightened. She was about to be euthanized the following week. She was there the longest. I don't know why nobody chose her. She's a sweet dog, but she's mostly pit bull. People are afraid of pit bulls. They have in people's DNA. They're afraid of pit bulls. I get it. So was I actually when I was younger, and now I see. And the dog, I started training the dog like no, choke collar, pulling, and electric collar, everything else. You know, it worked one day is like just something came over me again, kind of similar to the Maui vibe. And I went, just gently feed her when she doesn't attack another dog because she attacks dogs, doesn't attack people. You know, Buffy, and I reward her. And now she's an amazing dog. She just had her first play date a year and a half. We never had her around another dog off the leash. And we had our play date and they wrestled and she had finally has a friend now.
Love that.
And it happened from acceptance, grace, love, support.
Well, when you were jerking on it, you're matching her anger with that.
Exactly. That's exactly what we do with humans.
Exactly.
So you're matching their anger. Let's say you were anti-Trump, which a lot of people I find are, right? And let's say you think he's an angry, bad guy. If you think, oh, and you're a bad guy, you're a criminal, you think that any moment that he's going to have an epiphany and listen to this, because it's all people have done for the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
They're not allowing him to find his own spirit. Maybe he has an awakening. Maybe he doesn't. It's not up for us to judge that. It's up for us to judge our own awakening. Am I having an awakening and he gets to be a messenger for that awakening?
Right.
It just happened for me. I was furious in 2016 when he was elected. And I had all these reasons to be. I would fight. I would fight with people on Facebook. Now it's just absolutely worthless, fruitless to do it. But I can now be an example of acceptance, of letting go, all of those spiritual qualities that I wish to have in my life. I get to choose that out of the toolbox, as opposed to, come on, everybody, and mob mentality. Let's go get him. Look what else he's doing. It's just, it's absolutely, I feel bad when I watch it happening now. I watch my friend Peter. I mean, it's just the saddest thing. I actually didn't know this on Facebook. You can put people to sleep. I put him to sleep for 30 days.
I didn't know you did.
Yeah, you press the X and it puts them to sleep for 30 days. I couldn't take it anymore. Literally, the Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
Deranged.
Well, that's what
He
I'm
couldn't
talking
stop
about with the
posting.
victim anger.
Yes, of course. He couldn't stop posting about another thing. And you don't even know necessarily if it's true what you're posting. Like when I was anti-Trump, I was like, come on, James Comey, go get him. Found out he's full of crap. He's in on it. You start to find these things out years later. You just pick a side, and once you start picking that side, it's over. You're not going to have enlightenment because now you're just going to try to dig in and be right. They're worse than my guy. I said, okay, he's a predator. I said, but I was mad that they went after Bill Clinton. So, what's the difference? Oh, Trump's worse. No, we're all sinners. We're not saints. So stop going after somebody and expecting them to be that, but you're not.
That part of it, I totally understand where you're coming from, because I'm telling you, on a lot of levels, I'm right there with you. And I just was having this conversation at lunch today, and it's like, when you're angry about this, and there is that part of it where people are just, I see the same post coming from all these people, and it's like, this is what I believe. It's like, but do you actually know this? Have you looked at Congress?
Right.
Have you looked at the paperwork on it? Do you understand that some of these things that are, I believe, it's actually not true? I know that.
Do you peel it back? The pandemic was the ultimate example of followers.
Oh my goodness.
And they were mad at you. By the way, no one's apologizing.
No.
No one's apologizing for the mistakes that they made, insisting. I remember the great Sean Penn said people should die if they're not vaccinated. Oh, really? How about if they died if they were vaccinated? Are you responsible for that now?
Right.
Because they had to listen to Sean Penn, who's the scientist of all time. No, you don't know anything.
You know
and by the way, I don't know anything.
Yep.
I can only make some conclusions based on uncovering things that are not put in front of me by people with big bucks to make sure that it's put in front of me. They know the clickbait. They know everything. They've got it down. They're listening to us right now. If I talked about my hair falling out, I'm going to come home to a hair replacement treatment. Please stop, by the way. Okay? Please stop. I'm not getting hair plugs, all right? Whatever your method is. So take that off of your algorithm for Craig Shoemaker, okay? You listening, AI? Hopefully they are.
Oh, they are.
They're listening to everything. It's
fascinating.
Crazy. I thought of my friend Jeff Niddle the other day. I'm not kidding. This is crazy. I thought of him. I said, I'm going to give him a call. I might even give him a call. My old friend from grade school. His wife pops up on my Facebook request, uh, advising me to Facebook friend his wife. We have no mutual friends, and boom, she pops. I'm going, Kathy Niddle? How in the world does that happen?
I'm going to tell you, I have an article right now. Hold on.
I'm going to think of a billionaire that I want to pop up in
Oh,
my
right.
life. So somebody
Right.
gives me some money, okay?
Make sure it's one of those millionaires that's like the
A
good guy. The good guy.
philanthropic, yes. Well, listen, I have some needs, all right? I got an ex-wife to feed. I got to go. I got to get back and feed top ramen to my
You have
daughter.
to get it. Just real quick. They actually have technology now that they can use where they're actually putting thoughts in people's heads.
Oh, yeah.
And I have articles on it and a few of them, and it's fascinating.
Guess what we're doing, though?
Hmm.
Laughter works. We now, my
You're putting
company,
laughter in people's heads.
exactly. And we are rewiring them, the default mind network. We call the damn mind. We're getting out of the damn mind and into laughter. We have the head of neuroscience at Harvard is now on our board.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
That's
We are
amazing.
legit. So we're going to take this and make an app where the app gets to know you and feeds you laughter in your day. Instead of a Fitbit, how about a laugh bit? We'll count our laughs. So this is where we're going with this. We're going to take it to artificial intelligence. We also have our fun facilitators. If you want a fun facilitator to come to you, we can go through the Laughter Heals Foundation. That's the nonprofit. And then we have businesses. We come in and we teach you how to find more laughter and joy in your life. And I have a proprietary method of doing it.
If somebody would like to be a facilitator, how do they?
Fun facilitator.
Yeah, fun facilitator. Fun. Tell them what you call a wedding.
Well, we are training others. It's a certification program, and I really developed a 56-page book of training book.
Nice.
You really got to get this down. And you go into businesses, corporations, or even other groups, and you take them through these modules, and you deprogram who we have become. We become so angry. We're just regurgitators of information. That's all we are. That's what education is. They choose what you're supposed to believe, and then they tell you, memorize it, we'll give you an A. Nothing to do with making your life better. We're on this podcast to help people make their lives better. That's what my business is about. I'm switching from one-offs of comedy, which I'll still do at a nice high level. People are still laughing at me. I'm very lucky since high school. Been doing a comedy, put myself through college, everything.
Well, you're just really, really good at it. But to move into this avenue and to be able to bring in facilitators, to be able to do the laughitations, like for instance, I have worked with people who have a voice in their head that is not theirs, literally, and I have to guide them through it. To be able to use that part where it's like, all right, so if the voice is in your head, how are you going to be amusing about it? How are you going to laugh it out?
Yeah. Oh,
You know?
exactly. Well, it takes you to a whole other vibration, which takes you out of